ho!
Welcome back to the brew room. Christmas is upon us. Won't be long. Couple of months and we'll be Yule tiling all the way.
Mince pies are in the shops already.
Yeah, that's true. Advent calendars are there. We've got his Christmas tree up in the living room.
Easter eggs.
Already. So I'm going to brew up a Christmas brew. Alright? The thinking behind it is that I'm going to bottle it up and have at least 2 months in the bottle. Well, no, a month. A month in the bottle. 4 weeks. Let it do a good bit of aging before we drink it. This is the kit. What I'm doing up now. It's a Milestone Brewing Company kit. It's the first kit I've done for Milestone, and it's a Donner Blitzed Christmas kit. So it reads on it on the bottom here, a dark chestnutty ale with hints of black treacle, rum, a real Christmas treat. So that sounds nice. The alcohol contents of this brew when it's done, they say is 4.5%. Now I'm going to use a bit of Christmas cheer in the form of
cocaine.
Street value of about 30 grand there. Christmas cheer, sugar. Alright, I'm going to add a bit more sugar to this and try and get the alcoholic contents up because it's Christmas after all. It comes but once a year. So,
it feels.
So I've got my fermentation bucket sanitising. I've got all my tackle down there sanitising. I've got 6 pints of water bringing up to a boil, and I've got my 2 pans here with boiled water in them. But I've stopped now. They're just really hot water that I'm going to put the cans in to soften them up. So, without further ado, let's do just that. Now in the kit, it's a 2-can kit again, so you don't have to add any sugar to it. There's enough sugar in the malt extract because you've got 2 cans that you don't need to add sugar. If it was just the 1 can, then you'd have to add about I think it's 500 grams of either sugar or dry malt extract. So they're the tins. I'm going to put them in there.
Don't you have to pierce the lid?
No.
Sure.
Yeah. That's the box.
Boom.
Comes with some brewing instructions. Just telling you what to do, sterilising and what to do with these, but I've done one before, they can't be that much different. This yeast is Gervin or Gervin English ale yeast, and it says that for this one you have to add this sachet of yeast to 50 millilitres of lukewarm water, add half a teaspoon of sugar, leave for 15 minutes, stir vigorously, add 250 millilitres of your wort to it, leave it till it starts to ferment a little bit, and then add it to the bulk of your wort. Well, if you think I'm doing all that, you've got another thing coming, because in the instructions it just says to sprinkle it on top of your wort. So that's what I'm going to do. I ain't going to rehydrate.
If you need your wort sorting out, sprinkle some of that on.
So I'm going to empty this and then we'll start. Right, I've emptied all the sanitizer out of this, so that's been nice and sanitised. Put the lid back on, nothing can get in there. I've just took this off the boil. I'm going to let it just cool down a little bit. So when you've been doing the kits, when you've been doing more kits, you'll get the hang of it. I'm still getting the hang of it. Getting the hang of putting enough hot water in to cold water to get it to the right temperature. The temperature to pitch the yeast wants to be between 20 and 25 degrees. Any higher and you can kill your yeast off. Now yeast likes to be red hot, and the sort of hotter it is to a degree, it will grow and grow and grow, really vigorous fermentation, but it gives off an off taste. So keep it between 20-25 degrees. So I've just turned that off the boil. I'm boiling the kettle now because when these have been emptied into here, I'm going to fill them with boiled water out of the kettle to get all the malt extract out. I'm also going to run boiling water over the top where I'm touching them to sanitise it. And in here I've got the can openers in sterilising. Basically anything that's going in that bucket has got to be extremely well sanitised, even yans. And if you do that, then you won't have a problem with infection. So that's it. I mean, I've racked the other one I've been doing. The last brew I did was the Munton's Premium Gold Midas Touch, and I racked that from the fermentation bucket into the carboy because there was quite a large amount of trud forming, and I didn't want it sat on that. Now people say don't do that, don't put it into the carboy and then bottle it, because all you're doing is increasing the chance of infection. But if you've sanitised everything really well, you've eliminated that infection possibility. So when people get lazy with it, that's when you get problems. So everything's well sanitised to start with, and you won't have a problem. Right, it's time now to get the malt extract into the fermentation bucket. The way we're going to do it is obviously take the cans out of here. The red off. Get a clean tea towel. Put these back in here. It is tempted to put things back on the work surfaces, but if it's not, you've not sterilised the work surfaces, then you're going to have problems. So put it back in the sanitizer. That's the first one. That's the second one.
Ooh, Nigella Lawson at Brewing World.
Right. Now basically these are 2 can kit. So instead of having 1 can of malt extract, you're having 2. So you don't need to add sugar to them. But because it's a Christmas brew, and because I'm going to be spending it predominantly with my new wife, I want to get absolutely glad, so I don't remember a thing.
Poor Abby.
Of course I'm jesting, but really I really want to get bladdered at Christmas.
I've got this building, woman.
Right, that's it, they go back in there just to keep them clean. I'm going to boil the kettle up, like I say.
Do you wash your underpants in that bucket and all?
I try my hardest to, yeah. Yeah, when we can we do. Just put that down. Spoon, which is in the sanitizer. Put that on there. Right then. Ooh. Here we go. Let's start making beer. It's like a black molasses, treacly substance. And this is the malt extract. So don't have to get it all next one. Ooh, look at that, beautiful. Full of sugar, full of yeast food. Now someone sent me a message that says yeast, it eats sugar, pisses alcohol and farts CO2. I said, you've just described So in the cans now with the boiling water. Just like that. I'm going to get every last bit of malt extract out of them. And while that's happening,
It smells like Ovaltine.
while that's happening, I'm putting the lid back on the brew, putting the spoon back in the sanitizer, and that way nothing is going to get into there while I'm waiting for that. And I'm not putting that down on anything that's not been sanitised, goes back in the sanitizer. The sanitizer I'm using is Star San, so it's a non-rinse sanitizer. So it means that you don't have to rinse it off before you can put it in your brew. It's a lot better, it's a lot safer. So that's it. Give these a quick stir around, just to get the last of the malt off. And what I'll do is I'll pour it over the lid and get what's off the lid.
So that smells like Ovaltine.
See that running over the lid there, getting every last bit of the malt extract off of it. See that? Nice and clean, look.
Beautiful.
Do the same with this one. And again, using boiling water, which is sanitising all the time, so don't worry about it running over the lid. Anything that can survive them temperatures can have it. Second one. Nice and clean, get it all used. And now we add some of this hot water. So there's 6 pints in there. We'll add a bit of it. And I'm going to top it up with cold water now. I'm going to give it a stir with my spoon. Quick stir with my spoon, and then I'm going to top it up with cold water to the 20 litre mark. We're going to be topping it up to the 23 litre mark. If you top it up to the 20 litre mark, give it a temperature test. Then you've got 3 litres in which to either heat it up or cool it down. And if it's too warm, even when you've topped it up to 23 litre, you can put it in your sink, put the lid on it, run some cold water around it, do anything just to drop the temperature. I suppose you're better off being too warm when you've got all your water in than too cold. You can always cool it down, but it's harder to warm it up. Just going to get that malt off of there.
Use your tongue. Lick the lid of life.
So now I'm going to add the cold water. These pans have had boiling water in them, so they are sanitised.
Nice smell, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And like Paul said, it smells like a big tub of Horlicks.
Oh, Horlicks!
Pour it from a height, and that way you get oxygen into your brew, and then your yeast will flourish. Right, we're topped up to 23 litres, and the temperature is sitting at 25 degrees. That's perfect. By the time we've pitched this yeast, we've dropped a degree or two, so that's bang on right. Oh, no, it's not time to pitch the yeast. I'm going to add some sugar to it. You bastard.
What the? So how much of that putting in?
About 100 grams of this. Would have been more to it. Just a small offering of Christmas cheer. Let me give it a good stir up.
I'm so high! I'm gone.
Right, and in with the yeast.
You got to stir that in as well after, or just let it settle?
Some people let it sit on the foam, some people stir it. But I'm just going to let it sit on the foam this time. I've stirred every one. I'm going to let one sit. Might just tamp it down a little bit. And that is it.
Splendid. Christmas brew.
Put the lid on it. Crack the lid on this. Make sure you've lined up your thermometer with your airlock so you can keep an eye on everything. Get your airlock. Get as much of the sanitizer out of it as you can. It is non-rinse, but you don't want tons of it in. Some people use water, some people use Star San. I use gin. Mainly because the first brew I did, I picked the brew up to move it, and in picking up the brew, it sucked some of the gin inside the brew. And I thought if that were Star San, probably wouldn't be best to have, large quantities of it in your brew. It's not ideal to have gin in it either, but I'll tell you what, it's had no ill effect to the beer whatsoever. Put the lid on your airlock, because it'd be useless without it. And now if you press down on the lid, the two levels are the same. If you press down on the lid, the levels should change, and if you hold it and they stay the same, then you've got a good seal. Perfect. That's the milestone Donner Blitzed brewing. Come Christmas time, we're going to be pissed as fuck. Right, enjoy your evening. I am. Have a home brew, and that's it. You've got to try it. It's easy.